so I finally got around to working out like all the issues that I've had regarding like the different cameras and the lighting situation and everything like that. So I'm feeling really good right now because I think I nailed it. I think it's good. I think you have like a nice, somewhat high quality view of the knives. It's full screen. There's no like edges or anything. And then I'm in the stream. So it's looking good. Ian says, what's the one on the bottom right? Do you mean this one? Because this one is the Collazo Knives, Will Collazo Mini Bushido. Take a look. Yeah, Rich, I love that clip. I did just eat dinner, so forgive my clearing my throat. What's up, Nico? How are you, bud? Very right, Black G10. This is Lightning Strike carbon fiber. It is a JD Van Deventer EDC front flipper frame lock. Hand rub satin blade with mirrored flats. Lightning Strike carbon fiber. And just a frame lock. Little front flipper. Beneath the Ferrum Forge. Wow, Ian, you're making a lot of assumptions, my friend. This is not a Ferrum Forge. This is a Jason Overall Larevo Knives Facin prototype. That looks like JD Van Deventer in the stream. Oh my goodness. Are you serious? The man himself. Check it out. I've got the JD Van Deventer Gold and Gold Mini, and he is in the house. I must see the new bolster lock. All right, well, show it to me, man. You got my Instagram. Hit me up. You really like this, Ian? Well, it's funny. This is a JD knife who is now in the stream. It's actually for sale. Just to help fund new projects like this Gold Mini. Without the weird... I mean, you can take the clip off, but... what's up, St. Jude? Yeah, no, all good, Ian. Yeah, JD, I would love to see that. So I like my Gold Mini. It's really sharp. I cut myself with it yesterday. But it's pretty sweet. We got some marble carbon fiber, Timascus pivot collars, zirconium bolsters, textured titanium clip, hand rub satin finish, mirrored flats, blue liners, and I believe the backspacer is carbon fiber, but it could be G10. It's tough to say. Rich is pointing out the meme video that African Custom Knives made. Oh, JD, my unboxing video of the JD Van Deventer Gold. I was so enamored with the action when I got that knife. I had quite the reaction. What's up, D Knives? I can't always keep track of who's who from Instagram and Reddit. All right, so we've got 12 people in here. Honestly, with this one, guys, I'm really excited to finally have my whole collection in one place. It's been probably since November or December of last year that I've been trying to get to this point. There was, a lot happening, waiting for these Larevos, getting this JD Van Deventer Gold. This Larevo Knives Facin was out as well. I actually there's one knife still missing. It's the Herukis Blumeris LL15 that I won in a raffle. and that's currently in South Africa. Big thanks to JD Van Deventer, by the way, for delivering it to him. But yeah, that knife is with him in South Africa, and I probably won't get it back till Blade Show, so I wasn't gonna wait, on the one knife. Especially, like, I didn't buy it, so even though I like it and it's definitely a part of the collection, I didn't feel it too necessary to postpone this for another 2 months. So really, I'm going to kind of go over my EDC, tell you guys a little bit about... it is so small. Look how tiny it is. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I will just kind of be going over each knife and answering questions and everything like that, and we'll see how it goes. I do intend to do another live stream that goes over like all my gear, so like pens and like the watch clasp that you guys have seen, and my new driver, and like tops and spinners, and just kind of have all that in one video or like one live stream as well. So let me know if you guys are interested in that. D Knives asked, do I know anything about the Holt Spectre utility coming out? I haven't really looked into it. I mean, I know that they have the different tiers, and Prestige is sort of like the higher tier where it's like more custom, and then there's the Refined, which is what I had, which is like the normal sort of like mid-tech kind of thing. I'm assuming utility is going to be like just like not M390 and maybe not as much detail on the CNC. I have no idea though. That's pure speculation. Nico camera. So this is actually my iPhone 8 streaming to an app on my computer wirelessly or through like AirPlay to get the table view, and I just have a 1080 Logitech webcam. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So I'm going to cover these three knives over here, minus the Hummingbird real quick, because these knives are sort of... It's kind of funny that they're literally off of the wooden plank here because they're sort of on the chopping block. I have this Larevo Knives Face and Prototype. I'm going to clean up this blade a little bit. This thing is a frame lock. It's actually a pretty sweet knife. One area where it really excels is ergonomics. It's super comfortable in the hand. And then you have this blade hole that functions as a thumb flipper and a middle finger flipper, if I can say that 5 times fast. You got some pretty sweet pivot collars here. Nice anodized Steve Kelly pivot. Hand contoured clip. Timascus backspacer. And a pretty sweet action. I just got this one back from Jason. It had a pretty tight action before, a little bit of a stiff lock bar. So he made some adjustments to it, and now it's pretty solid. This knife is available if anybody's interested. Just let me know. This is a JD Van Deventer front flipper, which I was showing Ian earlier. It's got incredibly snappy deployment. That's one area where JD always excels. All of his detents just have absolutely fantastic deployment behind them. So we've got a sweet hand rub satin blade with a mirror polished flat, lightning strike carbon fiber scale, and titanium frame lock. Clip's a little worn. I carry this one a lot, and I don't really want to sell it, but I just got to keep funding things because there's some new knives over here and they weren't cheap. So I have this Keith Kruger K1 that I absolutely love. But I want to let this K1 go because I would like to order one even dressier from Keith. I'd like to get something with bolsters. So I'm trying to let this one go right now and pick up another one sometime in the future. You can see it's the beautiful electric mylar carbon fiber. Again, gorgeous hand rub satin finish blade, a little dirty from tape. I've used this one quite a bit as well. Mirror polish flats. G10 backspacer with a cool little, see if I can show you. There's a little bit of moon glow in there. Purple liners. Sweet action. and a milled titanium clip. First K1 ever with one of these. Pretty sweet knife. So those knives are available. Hit me up, guys, if you are interested in those. And then let's go ahead and jump into sort of the current EDC rotation. D Knives, see you later, man. So first up, let's talk about this Collazo Knives Mini Bushido. You guys have seen this knife a lot if you follow me on Instagram. I really like it. It's got this super thick, 0.9 inch thick blade stock, kind of a Quaken style. For those of you who don't know, Will Collazo sort of like the understudy of Edison and Victor Barajas, the Barajas brothers, Shark Knife Co. and VI Knives, respectively, down in Florida. And he's making some sick stuff for a pretty reasonable price point. Damascus blade, Damascus accents. Had this clip reflamed by my boy Adam Purvis, who does excellent work. Next up, let's talk about the Zero Tolerance 0055. And feel free to comment, guys. I just wanted to kind of go over everything. You know, I've been waiting, again, a long time just to have the whole collection in one place. So I'm really excited to just sort of show off everything that I currently have in my possession. This 0055 has been modified with an Adam Purvis custom Damascus clip. It needed a little bit of color, but I didn't really want to anodize this one. I sort of liked that it was the original ZT colors. So I was thinking of ways, you know, to spruce it up without necessarily getting the whole frame done. And I thought about just doing like these hollow areas here or whatever, but, you know, anodizing just didn't seem like the way I wanted to go. And so when I saw these clips available, I jumped right on it. This is the first piece that I had from Adam, and I've been working with him pretty extensively ever since. They come with a blue aluminum backspacer. And this is, of course, using the GTC SLT flipper. It's a 2-stage trigger on a spring. I think this thing's got a sweet action. I really like it. A lot of people, when they first try the trigger, they kind of feel like it's weird. You can either like pull it back and hold it and then build the pressure and just flip it like a normal flipper, or you can really just pull it back pretty fast and it just works like a normal flipper. There's just a little bit of a catch in the middle. This is, I guess, the lowest priced knife in the rotation, and it's stuck around for a reason. I mean, you guys will notice it's really the only production knife here, you know, the Reich Hummingbird notwithstanding. And so I think that says a lot for the knife, to be perfectly frank. Okay, so next up, let's see. Let's go ahead and talk about the new addition to the collection. This is a Gavco Knives Leopard, and I managed to pick up this knife through a proxy at East Coast Custom Knife Show. I was very thankful for that opportunity, and you guys can see the crazy lava Damascus scale. If you can hear my neighbor's dog barking, I apologize. But this thing is like epic, man. Absolutely epic. You can see the two-tone Steve Kelly pivot. He's got some speed holes in here. The Gavco logo is actually stamped onto the knife. The thumb studs are pretty sweet. Check it out. So if we look at them, they're green like this, and then if we rotate, they're blue. So he's done blue around these edges, and then green on the face. Very sweet. Matches the pivot. We're looking at sort of like a sheep's foot blade. Bit of a belly all the way through, not quite a Wharncliffe. Got some carving up here. The hammered finish. And the satin bevels. Knife is sick. Check it out from the other side. You can more clearly see the milled gills, which are present on the front. They're just harder to see. Damascus clip, black Damascus that is. A two-tone green-blue anodizing to match. Tumbled finish. this thing, and I mean the action is just fantastic. That was my fault. This is probably one of the nicer knives in my collection right now. I would wager this is one of the nicest pieces I've seen come from Mike's shop, really in the last year. At this point, I've tried about 30 of his knives or so. That's between all the knives that he had at Blade Show, knives I've had on loan, knives that I've owned myself, and everything like that. So definitely tried a lot of his pieces, and this particular knife is really stunning. Really something else. Next up are some Larevo knives. Again, we talked about the Faison prototype earlier, and this thing, you know, it's pretty sweet, but it is just sort of like a more plain frame lock, and I tend to go for the dressier stuff. So the Larevo knives that I have, woo! I just got these back from Jason. This is my Lattice. This is the Lattice number 001. We are looking at Juma scales, Timascus bolsters, Steve Kelly dual-colored pivot, zirconium pivot collar, and we are working with Galactic Bacon Damascus on the blade and clip. And we're rocking a semi-floating zirconium backspacer. Very cool. Love the way this looks. I really like this position sort of on the knife because you can see all the lines sort of going on the tab through here and on the clip, and it's just got this really cool sort of darty look. And then, of course, if we whip the blade open, we can see that Galactic Bacon at its best. All the little shooting stars. This knife is sick. Jason's work is all entirely handmade. You know, a lot of handmade makers these days at least do a little bit of like, you know, they'll water jet their lock bar, or maybe they'll water jet the actual shape of their frame, and then the rest is sort of hand finished. Whereas Jason is one of the few who still is taking a bandsaw and cutting out his lock bar, and literally it's the whole knife is stock removal. Everything's by hand. So you know, he hasn't been making knives quite as long as some of the you know, world class guys that we have here on the table. Andre Thorburn, 25 plus years, you know, etc. But yeah, you know, so the fit and finish is not absolutely perfect, but you really get that sense that the whole thing was built by hand, and it just really makes me appreciate his knives. And so I really like this Lattice. That's my recent pickup. And then a lot of you guys will know the Tribeca Mini. This is also number 001 of this model. So I have 3 firsts on the table here, sort of, for Jason. I picked this up at Blade Show of 2017. Troy asked, is it jimped all the way to the tip? Are you referring to the, is that back on the Gavco? Yes, the answer would be yes. There you go. And so I really like this mini Tribeca. The scales, he just recently got a new buffer, and so they're like incredibly highly polished. It's going to be hard to show off, I think. There, you can kind of see, like, they're like glass. I mean, it's amazing. These scales are amazing. They are pre-band walrus ivory. I'm not particularly supportive of animal parts, especially ivories. Don't really like where they come from, but the story behind this ivory, there's actually like a private video I have on my channel from the review for this where I kind of explain like why I own it, despite my sort of anti-ivory ways. But Jason knew a fellow knife maker who passed, and I guess the knife maker's mother invited him over to, you know, pick up any materials or whatever before she just kind of threw everything out. And Jason found this, and so, you know, he took it and he made a knife out of it. And it's the only knife that he's ever made with the ivory. And the way I kind of justified it to myself was, you know, it was already sourced. So there were 2 options for this ivory. Either it was going to get thrown in the garbage and end up in a dump, or it was going to be preserved on a beautiful piece of art. And I really wanted to support the latter because it's sort of like in honor of the animal. You know what I mean? Like, it was poached, and there's nothing we can do about that. And the ivory was sourced, and it was here. And so I think it's better on this knife than it is in the garbage. And so I really enjoy this knife. It's got beautiful sort of blasted zirconium bolsters, a Sanmai Damascus blade. We have, again, Steve Kelly pivot in green, a blue pivot collar, Sanmai pocket clip, green liners, Sanmai back bar that's raised up out of the frame. It's one of my favorite parts of the knife. It was a big selling point for me when I was buying this knife. And so I'm a big fan of this mini Tribeca here. This one is definitely near and dear to me. Let's see. What's up, Josh? It's not too bad to be that. You're not that late, I don't think, right? We've been at it maybe 20 minutes. Yeah, so let's keep a move on. Right here, we have a really interesting piece. So this is a Custom Knife Factory Gratch. Many of you might be familiar with this model. It came out in 2015. It's a little bit of an older one. Custom Knife Factory has two knives that are of sort of the similar design language. They have this Gratch, and then they have the Sequoia. The Sequoia is a knife that I've owned two of, so you can go check out the video on that from a long time ago. I had a Sequoia, I sold it. I got another Sequoia, I had it heavily modified, and then I sold that. And I was kind of always in a pursuit of a Gratch, because a Gratch is a liner lock. And as some of you may be familiar with, I am a fan of liner locks considerably more than frame locks. And so the Sequoia was a frame lock, sort of actually more like a bolster lock, depending on how you wanted to think of it. But I really wanted a Gratch. I just really wanted the liner lock. And the Sequoia also was not a flipper. And while I'm okay with thumb studs, I preferred a flipper for this particular knife. So I recently managed to pick up a Gratch. It was a long time on my list. I've sort of like moved out of collecting stuff like this, as you can kind of see. And so it wasn't something that I was really motivated to buy. I saw a couple come up and I made offers, but I only paid like $290 for this because a lot of people want more than that. I think you could get more than that, but it just really wasn't worth that much to me. So I managed to snag this sort of on a budget, and then right when I got it, I had an interesting idea. I hit up my friend again, Adam Purvis, and I thought, Adam, do you want to work on a special project? Do you want to make the world first Timascus hardware Gratch? And he said, yes, I'm going to give that a try. So I sent him this knife, and now you can see we have a beautiful Timascus clip, which is sculpted into the same original shape of the Gratch clip. Absolutely fantastic job. I'm so pleased with this. And then again, the raised back bar, as is mirrored on the traditional Gratch. So we can see that Timascus pattern sticking out of there. It is a full-length back bar, just as the original. Absolutely gorgeous. And I think it really gives the knife a little added extra pop that it needed. And so this, again, is a world first, and I'm super stoked to be the one to have that piece. I just really, really enjoy it. Let's see. A liner lock with a steel lock bar insert? This thing? Oh, yeah, no kidding. It does have a steel lock bar insert. I hadn't even noticed. Yeah, where is Dr. Frunke? He might be doing real surgery instead of knife surgery. All right. So I'm going to kind of save the two Van Deventers. I never really actually talked about the Hummingbird. I have a video on this knife. I was really smitten with this knife. It's definitely more of a novelty, but it's not only a novelty. I think a lot of people kind of expected this thing to be only a novelty, but the honest truth is the milling that they did on it is absolutely exquisite. The Damasteel is okay. The etch isn't very deep, but I understand why. And the clip functions just as well as a full-size knife clip. Spectacular. And the knife flips, guys. I mean, it's got a steel lock bar insert. It's on bearings. There's 6 bearings per side. And, I mean, it flips like a rocket. Who wouldn't want to own one of these? And I think you can get them on Moose and Bear for like $90, brand new, which is insane. I think I paid like $120 for this. And it comes with the, Kydex sheath with the necklace. So this is how I usually carry it. But again, the clip does function if that's how you want to carry it. It's a great little supplemental knife. And I think it's sweet. I think everybody should own a Reich Hummingbird. Period. You should have one. He got a new Spidey for surgery. Oh, interesting. Cutting some brains up. All right. The Andre Thorburn L36M. I mean, this knife never had a full video because I already had an L36M video that was up. But I did talk about it. I did gush about it, you could even say, a little bit in my Andre Thorburn Maker Showcase. And then I made that video about knives that I own but won't review. And this was one of those knives as well. So I told the story about it in those videos. So if you want to go see that, go check those out. But interesting update with this knife. 2 nights ago, I upgraded this thing to ceramic bearings. The action on it is stupid good now. Like, I mean, it was already pretty fantastic with the steel. But, the acoustics are slightly different because of the ceramic. They roll just a little bit faster. And, man, it's just... This knife never ceases being my favorite knife. It just really doesn't. If this whole collection goes down to 1, this will be the knife that stays. It has to be. There's no other way around it. Andre makes a hell of a knife. Oh my goodness. I even just need to take a minute and just it's so good, guys. It's such a good knife. So good. So as far as something new and exciting, the most recent knife that I purchased, I think I said it was this Gavco. That's a lie. It's actually this JD Van Deventer Gold Mini. But let's talk about the full size first. So this knife is stunning. Again, I had Adam Purvis redo the Timascus on it just because he always manages to get exactly what I'm looking for. I'm very, very, very picky with my Timascus. Absolutely gorgeous clip. The whole thing, you can see is contoured. I love that the pattern sort of wraps around the screw here. Let me focus. Contouring is fantastic. We see these gorgeous CNC'd pivot collars that are stepped. The crazy flipper tab that actually wraps around. The blade, and I mean, wow, the deployment. But the blade, that gorgeous hand rub satin, mirror flats. Milling all through the carbon fiber handles that are contoured. And this is a JVO design. I think JVO's designs with any maker are fantastic. It's kind of interesting. Different designers, who end up doing designs for a lot of makers. A lot of times I have, even if the design is the same, I only like it on certain versions of knives. For example, the Tashi A6 design, Tashi Baruka. I love the A squared knives A6. I love the A6 Mini. I kind of like the way the muscle looks, even though it's kind of bizarre. Oh, it's not CNC. Oh, well, I'm glad JD's still here to correct me. If anybody didn't see in the chat, this is not CNC. This is done on a lathe. I apologize. Should not assume. It just made sense. Okay, lathe. Cool. Got it. I don't remember what I was talking about. Yeah, totally blanked there. But love that one. Is there a retailer or direct? So this was direct, and then this was sort of direct with Blade Gallery being in the middle for just a moment. What's his name? David, who the owner of Blade Gallery, just returned with he said 150 South African knives. And this was one of them, and JD Vanaventer posted this to his Instagram, which was good for me and for my friend Mike, who picked up one of the knives as well. The picture came up on JD's Instagram, and I messaged JD and I said, I want to buy this, and he said, you'll have to talk to Blade Gallery. So I messaged them. They had just arrived the day or a couple days before with all the knives from South Africa, and I PayPal'd them, and I got the knife a couple days later. So it's sort of direct, but it was direct from Washington, not direct from South Africa. What are you sorry? Oh, Daniel O'Malley. Right. I don't know what you're sorry about. Don't be sorry. But yeah, so this knife, direct from JD, this one sort of had a little bit of a story to it. But yeah, so I absolutely love this knife. It's super sick. The Mini I just got, and the Timascus pivot collars, I don't know, I might get those recolored. Just a little bit much of the yellow and orange for me, but that shouldn't be a problem. We have the sort of, I don't know, hammered, textured clip. Marble carbon fiber scales and zirconium bolsters. And then on this one, JD's got the knurling, which I love, but then regular jimping at the top for extra grip. And again, super sweet action. JD's detents are absolutely fantastic. By the way, JD, if you're still here, the video on the gold, I'm hoping will go up a week from Monday, so like 10 days from now is the plan. And of course, these knives are on IKBS, these South African knives, the Kruger, both of the JD knives, the Thorburn, IKBS. So I think I covered all the knives, guys. You know, I own a bunch more, but they're just not sort of, this is like more like my rotation, my current rotation than it is like my whole collection. Obviously, I have the PM2 and the RAT2 that I use for size comparisons in videos. I've got about, I don't know, 10 or 15 fixed blades and other assorted production knives in a case behind me. I've got some knives over here, which, I don't know, I guess I'll bust out. I have the HEA Designs Equilibrium. This is the only one in the world with green handle and blue hardware. Got that direct from Sam. Very happy with that knife. But I don't really carry it because it's kind of like a bit too much. It's really big and the tip is super pointy, and so I like it, but like it's not the best thing to pull out at work. I know these knives aren't like all super friendly or all that small, but they look, I don't know, a little bit less threatening. I just think that upswept point really, like, people are like, whoa, like, all right, bro. I have the WE Knives 604D, which I will keep for eternity for sentimental purposes, with the WE Knives lanyard bead. That's what I'm trying to say. I love this knife. It's sick. I don't carry it anymore because I busted up the clip. You can see I messed that up. It's stretched out, and I can't get the screw out. I pretty much stripped it with the tool because it was just stuck in there. And then I have a Benchmade 51. Right now it has the trainer blade on it, but I have a live blade as well. Honestly, if somebody wants to buy this too, I'd be willing to sell it. I do like it. I have no idea how to use a balisong. I like to you know, fidget with it and play with it, but I can't actually do like tricks or anything. So yeah, this thing, it's honestly, I've had it for a long time. It's kind of, I had to clean rust off of the trainer blade like a million times, so it's kind of like pitted almost a little bit. But yeah, I love the Flytanium scales. I had one of these. It was actually a different 51 altogether, and you know, it just had the G10 scales, and that was nice. But I like a little bit more weight to my handles, not like a ton. Like I've tried steel balisongs, and steel's too heavy, but the titanium is kind of perfect. Yeah, I think that's all the knives I own. So are you guys interested in seeing like gear? Because I really want to do a gear video with like, I guess I said earlier, all my just pens and like all the other EDC stuff that I carry. Let's see. Gotcha. For JD, email or Instagram. Ooh, Troy is interested in getting a gold. Sweet. Gold Standard has dual row IKBS. Can't fail to mention that. Thanks, JD. It does indeed. Kind of a nightmare depending on who you ask. 120 bearing balls. That is unbelievable. Let's see. Josh, you definitely have to get a gold, man. You definitely. I don't have any Shirogorobs for sale. Using your channel to knife sale sellout. What's up, Charlie? Yeah, man. Sue me. I gotta get the knives out the door so I can keep affording to do stuff. This Gavco and this Gold Mini were a bit of a impulse purchase. Those couple of knives. So yeah, would love to get a couple of these moved. Excuse me. Really excited to get a K1 with bolsters. Maybe do a little bit thicker. He went super thin on the scales. That's something that's a lot of the South African guys have sort of been playing around with a little bit. Is just doing thinner liner locks. I am personally partial to thick. I actually liked the thickness on my Mini Tribeca more than the thinness on my ladders here. So I'm thinking asking him about doing like bolsters, keeping the liners the same size, but then maybe doing the scales just a little bit thicker. And then, I don't know, I want to see if I can get him to do something like stippled bolsters or something. He's done it before. Any tiny bolts I want to part with? No. Oh, I'm sorry if I hit the mic and it sounded awful. I have just this tiny bolt. And this one I'm going to keep probably for a good long while. I think I'd have to be buying another tie bolt or another tiny bolt to get rid of this one. I don't think I could ever just sell this. I, of course, have the... So with both of my Fellholters, I have the cap spin pattern to match the pattern of the pen. So you can see here we have the sort of diamond cap spin, and we have diamonds in the milling. Again, a custom Timascus clip from Adam Purvis. Same deal here. We have the frag pattern tie bolt with a frag pattern cap spin. I love these. My buddy Rich really wants to buy this from me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I let him? I don't know. Should I let him? Yeah, this tiny bolt's not for sale. It might, I mean, it's up for trade. I'm interested in Matthew Martin pens, as well as other Fellholter pens. Always looking to try something new. So if anybody's got some pens to trade, let me know. If anybody knows where to find a Grayson tie pen for less than $2,000, let me know as well. All right. Guys, we've been at it for about 40 minutes. We've gone over the whole rotation. Definitely plan on doing the gear thing sometime soon. Looking forward to a couple of videos that are on their way. We have a couple of sweet giveaways coming up for you guys. I really want to hit 1,000 subscribers. We're getting there. And I have a couple of knives set aside for a giveaway at that point. And then keep an eye out about 10 days from now. I think, let's check the date, actually. Give me a minute. April 5th. Be sure to be subscribed on April 5th. We are doing a giveaway in association with African Custom Knives, and that's going to be freaking sweet. Anybody who follows me on Instagram and has been checking out my stories, you know what the item up for grabs is going to be, but otherwise I'm not going to repeat it here. Impulse knives are the best knives, says Josh, and he's not wrong. This Gavco was like big old win. Big snag. Big snag. You'll take the big one if I'm willing to part with it. I'm sorry, man. If I'm going to sell this knife, it is earmarked for my friend Rich. He is local. He supports me. He supports the channel. He supports the podcast. He supports everything Tovarsh Works, and I love the man for it. And so the next time I see Rich to get coffee, probably this coming weekend, I'm either going to let him buy this or I'm going to keep it myself. Sorry, can't let it go. Can't let it go to anybody else. Rich has dibs. Dibolas. Dibsters. My friend, see, I'm like looking at my gear over here like, I could talk about that. I could talk about that, but I'm going to save it. I'm going to do a new live stream. Pocket Pair is in the house. Dude, I mentioned you earlier. I'm so glad. Pocket Pair recently picked up also a JD Van Deventer Gold Mini. His is super sweet. We were very fortunate to get these knives when we did. What do you think about yours? Do you like the action on it and everything? Are you happy? I really like your zirconium pivot collars, which, by the way, were fashioned on a lathe, not CNC'd. Thank you to JD for correcting me on that. I love the gold model. Oh, I think earlier when I got distracted by that lathe comment, I was talking about JVO designs. That's right. I'm glad I remembered that, actually. So the interesting thing is, like, if you look at Isham Bladework designs or Tashi Baruka, so, like, I like their designs on some knives. Again, I was talking about the A6 before, so like I really like the A6. I kind of like the muscle. I like that design in some different places, but like the Tough Knives Pup, I think a buddy of mine had that up for sale recently. Like, I don't really like it on that knife, and so it's just interesting how like different makers will take the same design and sort of like tweak it and add their own flair. And so in a lot of cases, you know, I'll like one design from a designer on a certain maker's version of that, whereas I won't on others. JVO, his designs are universal for me. Every knife that comes out from any maker, even if it's not like 100% of the top of my list, I'm like, ooh, I like that. And I always know that it's his. You know what I mean? Like, his designs are so obvious. Excuse me. And I would say that's true of a lot of the knife designers. Like, you know an Isham knife when you see one. And to a lot of to a good extent, I think you know a Tashi knife when you see one as well. Although I think his design elements come through more on his own knives versus the knives that he designs for other makers. Like, I don't see a whole lot of Tashi in like a full-size A6. I mean, like, it's there. The design's there. But like, I see less Tashi in an A6 than I see in like a knife that Tashi would make himself. What's up, Throat Scratch? Pocket Pair says it's nice. The EDC was a bigger surprise. New clip, incorrect figure. Ooh, wait, he's doing tip up clips now. I want one. The deployment on this thing is wicked. I want a different clip setup. Why did you tell people that? I told people this knife was for sale so I could buy other stuff. Now people are going to want the new one. Somebody's gotta like tip up. Or tip down. Wait, what did I say before? Tip up is what I want. Like this. Not like this. Doors that go like this. Okay. So yeah, the JVO designs, I very much like them. I very much like the gold. I very much like the gold mini. I very much like all JVO designs from any maker. And I particularly think that the gold design is stellar. I love the lines like this where it's like you come here and then you have the harpoon. I love harpoon blades. Torx pivot as well. It's funny, I've ended up with like 3 of these things. Let's see if I can dig one out of here. This is the tool. And I have a couple of these now. I don't know where my other one is. So I can't say I'm exactly in need of Torque's version of that knife, but I finally got, I got one of these things, and then I ended up with 2 of them. So if anybody ever needs the 5-prong tool, I guess maybe I'd be willing to sell one. I don't know. You can try hitting me up. I don't know what I'd do. Maybe I'll just let you borrow it. You can send it back, but I have 2 of them. Pocket pair, I feel like you have like a bunch, right? New bolster lock runs, also an IKBS with a tip-up clip. Check your Instagram. Okay. I can't because I'm using my phone. But, I mean, whatever. Let's do it. Instagram. JD. Gold standard, gold mini. Oh, I see. Very nice. Oh, yes, it looks very good. I like this. I like this a lot. I like it quite a bit. Can I have one? I don't want to buy one. Can I have one? No. Wow. I really like these. I like the marble carbon fiber one. I guess everybody has to go to Instagram to know what I'm talking about. But I really like the clip, JD. I really like the clip. That was a big win. It's cool to see models get updated and stuff over time. I really enjoy that. If you guys aren't already following JD Van Deventer on Instagram, you have to do that. You have to. It is at JDVD Knives. And I can't imagine not following him. My goodness. I've owned a handful of JD's knives at this point, and every single one of them has been an absolute delight. I really liked my full-size, well, I guess there's only one size, Kenpachi. But I had to sell it to fund the gold. I think I like the gold more as a model overall. Kenpachi was sweet. I really liked the texturing on it. The flipper tab was a little bit long, but deployment on that knife was insane. What else we got? So much Timascus. So it's interesting with the Timascus. I was doing some photographs earlier today. Today was quite a productive day, I must say. So I was knocking out some photographs, and I did a picture with every knife that I have Timascus on. And it's like almost all of them, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I didn't even have the Gavco in there because I just wanted the purple and blue Timascus to all kind of match. I feel like... Oh, and then I had the pens with the clips in them as well. All right, so my phone battery's down to 9%. I forgot to plug it in, and honestly, there aren't any cords that reach this far. So a few more minutes, guys. I would love to field some more questions. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. It started off a little bit slow, but we got into it. I'm just super smitten right now with my whole EDC lineup. I really enjoyed these knives. It's starting, like, I don't know, I feel like I spent most of 2017 figuring out what I was into. So it was like 2016 when I started collecting for real, like actually spending real money. That was like a very quick leap up the ladder through all the production stuff. So trying out ZTs and trying out Spydercos and trying out a lot of like the sort of mid-level, like mid-tech or like low-scale production stuff, Olamic, etc. I did a lot of that in 2016, and then 2017, especially after Blade Show. So like the first half of 2017 was still kind of like, I might own a custom, but then I'd also not. It wouldn't be weird for me to go and buy like $100 production knife too. And then Blade Show happened, and I picked up this knife and some other customs, this knife, and like all hell broke loose after that. Like I'd already owned like a Thorburn and a couple of other things, so like I knew what it was, but I hadn't really like fleshed out what I was all about. And then so the second half of 2017 was really like figuring out who I actually love. So like going to New York Custom Knife Show, meeting a lot more people, trying out a lot more knives, getting a ton of loaners from all of you sweet, lovely people. St. Jude, absolutely take care. Thanks for stopping by, man. So second half of 2017, mostly like figuring that shit out. And like New York Custom Knife Show was really nice to be able to sort of like more slowly go and try everybody, even though there were more people at Blade Show. And I really got to like flesh things out there. And then I'd say once 2018 rolled around, that was really the point where I started, like getting permanent pieces together, right? Like, the gold and this Gavco, are really, they're really up there. They're newer knives for me, but they're absolutely fucking stellar. The L36 has really made its place as a keepsake. The ZT is going to stay around. I might let the Quaken go, the Bushido, to get a full-size one in carbo quartz, but I think I would only replace it with another Colazo knife. And so, I don't know, I'm just sort of getting to the point now where things feel a little bit more permanent, maybe not 100%, but getting there. And I'm starting to look at, like, more serious grails, stuff that I really can't afford, like Shark Knife Co. and, like, Lee Lerman, Black Snow Customs. These are, like, $1 million a pop. So, I just really can't afford those. Thanks a lot, Troy. Take care. So yeah, those are kind of like where I'm looking now. I've sort of like branched off and started investing into things like the pens and stuff, and like upgrading my watch. I've really enjoyed that, and sort of trying out other things. Picked up an ST DuPont lighter and everything like that. So I'm enjoying that aspect as well. But yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let's see, just got here. What's the spine down knife at the bottom of your cutting board? Bushido. Yeah, this is the Bushido Mini. Went over that one pretty early on. And yeah, so I'm looking at those grails. These knives are probably gonna, for the most part, stick around for quite a bit. I'm really starting to figure out like who I really enjoy, and like not just who I enjoy, but like which pieces are the pieces to hang on to. Like I've tried a ton of Thorburns, but there's only one sitting here for a reason. And I've tried a ton of Gavcos, like I said, but there's only one sitting here for a reason. And it's sort of like that kind of attitude of like, I'm starting to figure out like, it isn't even just the maker. It isn't even just the model. It's the knife. And sometimes you just find a keeper that is just really above even its own brothers and sisters. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Again, I hope you enjoyed this live stream. It's very enjoyable for me. What do I use for sharpening? I don't sharpen my own knives. Actually, a little bit of a shout out. The answer to your question is I use let me make sure I got his fucking Instagram right. Hang on. Let me just look it up. At Bender J85, Bender J85 on Instagram. Go check him out. I use him for all of my sharpening. I've got multiple coworkers that send him knives. Every knife comes back with a gorgeous mirror polish. As a matter of fact, this Ultratech just came back. I'll show you guys this edge. Beautiful mirror edge. So that's what you're looking at with Bender. I use Bender for all of my sharpening and everybody else's sharpening. Yeah, Charlie agrees with the knife-specific keepers. That's why you got to pick up dupes of the ones you like. I agree with that sentiment. And yeah, thanks so much for stopping by, JD. That was really awesome to have you in the stream. Did not expect that. Really glad I had a couple of your knives on the table. I actually took another photograph today when I was doing my EDC shots of 4 of your knives all together. So that was really enjoyable. Yeah, so thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to go here because my phone is literally about to die. Definitely make sure that you're tuned in. We will do an EDC gear live stream sometime in the next couple of weeks. We will have videos of these 2 golds, the Gavco, among other things coming out on the channel over the next couple of weeks as well. Big giveaway with the African Custom Knives guys in about 10 days, and we'll do another giveaway as well once we hit 1,000 subscribers. So please let your friends know about the channel if you enjoy it. And of course, if you guys ever want to hit me up, you can email me at tovarishworks@gmail.com. People reach out to me all the time for all kinds of different reasons, and you can just ask questions or chat me up or do whatever you want. So thanks a whole lot, guys. I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream now as soon as I remember how. And yeah, that's going to do it. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.